right, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Since 2007, people from every corner of this state, from Racine to Superior, have been able to tune in and watch our work in the Capitol on Wisconsin Eye. Wisconsin Eye has covered every assembly and floor session, every vote, minute of debate, address, and action that we take in these chambers on behalf of the people of Wisconsin until today. Today, there will be no live stream from Wisconsin Eye of the work in the Capitol, and no one will be able to see the proceedings like they have for the last 19 years. It is not a good day for accountability to the people who elected us to serve them. Transparency is an essential part of a functioning democracy. Without it, mistrust thrives and multiplies. At a time when we need to be building trust in state government, when we need to be demonstrating that government can and must be a force for good, this is a step in the wrong direction, and it erodes the public's trust in this institution. Over the last week, this has been clear with the significant number of committee meetings that we have seen the majority party schedule, and there's been no coverage from Wisconsin Eye of those committees either. To the journalists in the room, I know that you have felt this. You can't be everywhere at once, and it is impossible to cover everything when it's scheduled wall to wall. This is an unsustainable situation, and today we are here as Assembly Democrats to make clear that we will continue pushing to restore the public's access to government proceedings in the Capitol. We will not rest until this is done, and we are calling on our Republican colleagues to join us. With that, I'll pass it over to Representative McGuire.
Well, thank you, Representative Neubauer. A little over a year ago, at the beginning of the session, legislative Republicans announced that this was a new era of government oversight, accountability, and transparency. And yet here, 1 year later, this state capitol is less transparent. The voters and the citizens of the state have less access to government proceedings than they did a year ago. People at home who are concerned about the impact of policies on them and their families have less ability to be able to view those bills as they move through, and certainly less ability to see what we're going to be doing on the floor today. We have a number of bills that were in committee this week, that are on the floor this week, that the public should be able to see, and they should be able to understand what's happening. These impact schools, these impact access to firearms, these impact our communities in tremendous ways, and public access to that information is vitally important. And so we are hopeful that Wisconsin Eye can get back up soon, and with that, who am I passing up to? Mike Baer. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative McGuire. And it's nice to be in front of some cameras for once. It's been a while, so thank you all for being here and making sure that there's coverage of this issue. And thank you, Leader Neubauer, for your leadership on this. I know you've had some great conversations with our team and across the aisle trying to make some progress here. And thank you again to the media for the work that you're doing to try to bring some attention to this issue. You know, we have a long-standing tradition in Wisconsin of open, accessible government with open meetings and open records, and we're not following that tradition in these last couple of weeks, and that's deeply disappointing, I think, to the people of Wisconsin who know that this is ingrained in our culture. This is how we do government, and we're not doing government in that way here today or in the last week or so. I'm the ranking member of this committee called GOATS that Representative McGuire was referencing, Government Operations Accountability and Transparency. What is happening is the opposite of those things. The majority party, the Republican Party, made that commitment at the start of this session that there would be transparency, that they wanted more transparency, and we're at a point where we have less. That's disappointing. We're doing important work here. We're doing important work on the floor today, and we have been in committee on things that Representative McGuire, Leader Neubauer mentioned that affect real people's lives, and it's important that people out there are able to see us do that work. We have nothing to hide. I've heard from disability advocates and people who aren't able to make it here to the Capitol that they would like to see what we're doing. That's not a lot for a constituent to ask of their government, of the people who are operating in their government. And most of my district is 20 minutes away. I have that privilege of living close by, but if you're a constituent in Wausau, 2 hours and 15 minutes away, that's a bit of a trek. Good thing there's no snow today. Well, I don't know, I guess there could be later on, who knows. So offering people the opportunity to see what we do is vitally important. And I feel for those constituents who can't see what we're doing. And I would ask that you ask yourself, what kind of politician doesn't want for a camera to film what we are doing? What kind of intentions does that politician have? What kind of motivations do they have? What do they have to hide? Why are they doing that? We're doing important work. People ought to be able to see what we're doing. So thank you, and I think we're able to take some questions.
Is there a specific plan you guys support? On Wisconsin, there have been a number of ideas out there, including that they would get a portion of the 10 million that was in the budget, but they still have to have some form of a match of that. Where do you guys stand on that?
We're open to multiple solutions. There have been proposals to have Wisconsin come back online. There have been proposals to have this be more a function of state government. I think we're open to negotiation with our Republican colleagues on this. We just want to make sure that what happens in the Capitol is accessible and our constituents can participate fully in this process.
Have they been talking to you about this?
We have had some conversations about this, but no concrete movement as of yet.
Is this likely to be solved before you guys are done at the end of the session?
We're going to keep pushing and really hope that it is solved very soon, because there's a lot going on in the Capitol right now.
How much blame do you lay on Wisconsin itself for not being able to fundraise the dollars that they say they need?
I'm not sure that a $10 million requirement was ever really realistic for Wisconsin. We would, of course, like to see more fundraising, but I don't think that we set them up for success with the provision that was in the budget.
What did you make of it?
Concerns with the way that they've managed the money that they've had thus far? Would you like to see any changes to the structure of the organization?
I think we're open to those conversations about exactly what is essential services that they're providing. I think we can all agree that what's most important is that people can see what's happening in committees and on the floor in the state capitol. That's what we're most focused on ensuring is available again soon.
Have you or other members noticed reported incidents of members of the public being kind of cracked down by legislative staff as they try to record in meetings?
Yes.
And beyond that, what would you like to do as lawmakers to address those concerns?
We have seen committee chairs in the last week prevent people from recording committee hearings. Both, I believe, members of the Capitol, so staff and members of our caucus, as well as members of the public. We had asked that we have some interim solutions here to ensure that people could have access to committee hearings if they weren't able to attend in person if the room was full, which did happen at times last week, but we have been denied any interim solutions by the majority party at this point.
Do you know why the rules are being enforced suddenly that we have never seen enforced while Westside was operating?
Yeah, so this is a great point. We did not see this rule enforced, that people could not record in committees previously. For some reason, it is now being enforced by the majority party. I think it really does beg the question as to why are they so intent on not having recordings of what's going on in committee hearings right now.
Can I add to that? I just want to add on that particular that one of my colleagues, a chair of a committee, answered a similar question with, WSI has protections against the video being used in a political campaign setting, whereas someone taping in a committee doesn't have that same commitment. To which I sort of responded, well, what are we afraid of again? What are we hiding? Voters ought to be able to see what we're doing and hold us accountable for what we're doing and saying and how we're acting here in this work.
I mean, we saw lawmakers making jokes last week. Thank God Westside isn't here recording this so people won't see it. How concerning is that to you? It's not transparent for people who aren't in attendance.
It's extremely concerning. Again, there are really important issues that are being raised in committees and on the floor right now. Issues relating to education in our schools, issues relating to gun access and gun safety in Wisconsin, protected communities. We've got a lot of important things going on in the Capitol. It's a very busy time, and it's really problematic that people are not able to have access to that, and that we are not seeing any urgency from our Republican colleagues in addressing this issue, and frankly, further efforts to crack down on transparency.
Last question. Can I ask you real quick about property taxes? The governor talked yesterday, Republicans talked today. Is there any support of the Democratic caucus to repeal the 400-year veto?
We want to fund our public schools, and we want to address the real challenge that Wisconsinites are facing of increased property taxes. We've put forward a bill to fund general aids that would hold the line on property taxes and make sure that our schools are able to function. That's the bill we're going to be advocating for.
Is that not a no?
Not going to comment at this point. Thank you.